Alright, well, apparently a new Secret of the Mimic teaser kind of a thing just dropped, and I literally, pretty much just got home, and I saw people made videos on this already, which people are just so fast at getting into this stuff, but I thought, I might as well make a little reaction video to this. I always do when there's a new FNAF trailer, so, as far as I can tell, it's not like it seems more like the Freddy and Friends things for Security Breach, kind of an adjacent than like an actual teaser, but we'll see. I have no idea what to expect in this, so we'll watch the full thing, and then we'll kind of go over it. So let's just do this. Also, I'll try not to talk too much over top of it.
You look terrible. I'm exhausted. So much to do by morning. I'll never be ready for my big presentation. All I want to do is sleep.
Why sleep when you can stay up latte?
Stay up late?
No, latte. It's new, from mine. Try it.
Oh, distinctive taste. Rich and roasted, yet creamy and sweet. Give me more.
That's my secret recipe. The Stay Up Latte creates the perfect cup of coffee suited to you, based on your coffee habits.
I know what you want better than you do. I am always watching and learning. Have another cup, have another cup, have another cup, have another.
Morning. Did you stay up all night?
No, I stayed up latte. After 2 full pots, I'm ready to work. Promotion, here I come!
That's the very difference.
Okay. I'm gonna okay, I'm just gonna mute this because we don't need to listen to the audio again. Okay. Odd for starters. Okay, what does the start say? Picture start, MCM, Universal Leader, splice here. Okay. Oh, and then there's probably just some more yep, MCM films, random Edwin random things. So then it counts down. I really didn't know what to gather from this, if I'm gonna be honest. This definitely seems like a really old style. This definitely seems more I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. I feel like people didn't, maybe the 60s or 70s. At the 70s at the latest, which I know it takes place in 79. But I imagine this, just scroll down there for a second. This coffee thingy that they unveil would be I don't know, the 60s, because this just kind of gives me more older than even Fredbear vibes, and just older than the 70s, just in terms of how people dress and how this is just looking. The footage too seems really old, so this gives me really old vibes, which would mean that Edwin has been around. I can't even say that name anymore without saying that, but it seems like maybe that his company's been around for quite a while before all of this stuff starts. But you have this weird, honestly the world's worst animation. I mean, what the heck is this? Singing we got the talking orange over here. This is just, it was just uncomfortable. I did not like this. So you just get this, and then there's, okay, wait. There's some, you can kind of see, this looks like a chair. This looks like kind of a desk, maybe an office. Is it this office area? Is it this office? Because this looks like an office chair, kind of like a cubicle area. You got your desk and things here. This looks kind of like a cubicle area. So maybe that's what we're seeing here. Also, this is definitely really old because they have typewriters. I just kind of realized. Yeah, there's another. So this is a cubicle area here. And then there's something up here. I can't tell what that is. But they keep talking. Okay. They keep jabbering. He drinks his coffee and does a little invincible animation here where you don't see his mouth, so they don't have to animate it. Also, I just, you know, I immediately thought about this the second that I saw this little thing. And, you know, it's like, it's got little eyes and a little bow tie. This was like a completely missed opportunity to make this thing look like Scott's little coffee character, like the little coffee machine guy that he has in that he made before FNAF. And then he had like his little cameo that showed up in different FNAF games. This was a perfect opportunity to have that guy as a cameo, and they didn't go with that. It would have been so fun. Like, it didn't have to be the exact design, and it's similar. Like, he's got the little arms, right? And it's kind of similar, but like, I feel like that's a missed opportunity. They could have gone with that, and that would have been such a cool tribute. But you know, that's a whole different thing. So you have a sentient coffee machine. And he says, like, I know your every thoughts or whatever. Yeah, he talks and he's like, I know your every whatever. I know what your deepest desires or something weird like that. And that's just kind of weird. Like, why is there a are we going to be, is a coffee machine going to talk to us? So we get another shot at the nurse. Hang on. We're gonna, oh, that was actually kind of a good spot. I'm going to slow this down. What the heck is a sleep time? What the heck? What the heck is a sleep timer? Customization, playback speed. What did I miss? Did I miss a YouTube update? What the heck happened? I must have missed like a major YouTube update. So this looks like it's only on. They're only on frame for a few seconds. It's weird. I thought maybe this was so that you have something over here. It looks like maybe some eyes staring. I thought maybe this is the nurse, and but I just want to compare the models because I feel like that's what this is supposed to be, but I don't know. So let's see if I can get a good image. That's a pretty crappy image. Come on, how hard is it to just give me a good picture of this? Okay. You know, there'll be a good one up on screen. It doesn't really matter. I don't, maybe it is. No? It's so hard to tell. I think it's supposed to be. Yeah. I think it's supposed to be. It might be, or maybe like a similar model. Because just looking at the two, they have similar arms with like the little line connectors to the top. And then, but then this kind of coming down, like I feel like this is the green dress. It's kind of hard to tell. But it almost gives me like the Chica's bib kind of a vibe here, which is why I was like, you know, maybe Chica. But then you have the symbol here. It's so hard to tell, but this looks like the symbol that she has on her stomach or chest. So I think that this, I think that this is supposed to be the nurse. Maybe, yeah, I think with the hair too. Just something's wacky with the face because it makes it look like she's got like a snout or something. But I think it's just a weird angle. Yeah, I think so. It's the nurse. It's just a really weird angle of the nurse, but that's who this is. It's just a really, really terrible angle. Like, it's so weird. And then like nothing else happens. He talks about the stay up latte from our boy Edwin. And then it just says, you know, Secret of the Mimic. Ooh, spooky. And then I don't think there's anything else here. Yeah, and then it just ends. Okay. Well, that was the teaser. Honestly, not really sure what to think about this. I liked the fact that it's not just like, you know, another teaser. It's like, oh, you know, that's like a little fun tie-in kind of a thing. Like the Fazbear and Friends or whatever they have for the or security breach. It kind of reminds me of that. But it's also way more vague, I think. Like, there's not a clear, like, in the trailers for Security Breach, you had, like, so, it's just not as clear cut as, like, the, Security Breach ones, where you got to see, like, oh, Music Man walks across screen, or like the Blob slithers across screen, or you see Vanny, or you see Sun and Moon, right? Where like introduce a character while also being like, you know, a fun little tie-in kind of a thing. This kind of doesn't really do that, because they give you a vague shot of who I think is the nurse. From all my deductions, I think it's the nurse. And then that's kind of about it. There's like nothing else. There's like literally nothing else in this teaser. They had the shot, so it is old because they use typewriters. So that's gotta be like at least 60s. And they show another shot of the offices. So I don't know if we're gonna see like more backstory or what. But honestly, I can't look at this guy's face. I didn't really get like anything out of this trailer. It's just kind of here. That's my thoughts on the thing. That's about it. Honestly, you know, I was starting to get kind of hyped for the game. At first, I was skeptical. I was like, oh, I don't know about this. And then I started getting more hyped as I was like, you know, it'll be fun. It might not feel like a Five Nights at Freddy's game, but it'll at least be fun, right? I have the same thing with Ruin. I'm not a big fan of Ruin because it doesn't feel like Five Nights at Freddy's, but I still enjoyed it. Like, I had fun playing it. So I had the same thing with this. And then, I don't know, this just doesn't really take away from that. But I'm also just kind of left here like, what was the point? Because like the points for other teasers, or like even the tie-ins, which I keep bringing up, because these are kind of similar to the ones for Security Breach, are like they introduce something, or they like tease something that's going to be in the game, right? So you're like, okay, you're expected to see something that's going to be cool that ties into the game, and they didn't really do that here, unless there was something I missed, but they didn't really do that. Like, we got a shot of cubicles, and then we got a shot of what is presumably the nurse again, which you've already seen in the trailer. So it's like, there's not really anything cool or like teased here. Like, we didn't get like a glitched out shot where it's like you can't really see what's going on, but then you see like, I don't know, Edwin making the mimic or something like that, or you see like, I don't know, anything, maybe like a car accident, and you hear like, oh, you know, he was getting his ball, and then, oh, there's a car, right? Like, I don't know, at least something, right? Like, just something that would help tease anything else in the game that we haven't already seen or don't really care about. Cubicles, who the heck cares? The nurse, we all have already seen her, unless that's not the nurse. If that's supposed to be a different character, that would be cool if we could tell who that was. But honestly, aside from maybe making a quick video out of this really just felt like a waste of time, and it kind of hurt my eyes because that was really I didn't like the visuals, but I didn't really get anything out of this. So if there's other people who, like, I don't know, I saw like FNAF and Fusion made some videos on this. If they have more to say about this, good for them. There is really nothing here. I'm sure FNAF could make a big connection about how we saw the nurse who's actually supposed to be like Proto Circus Baby, and then tie it into the stinking Bonnie Bro being Cassie's dad, and because he always ties theories back to that. So I'm sure he could make some sort of crazy wacky connection between all this stuff, but I got nothing out of this. So if you guys came here to expect answers to this, there are no answers, because there's literally nothing here. The only thing I really wish they would have done is to make the coffee machine look like the one Scott had, because that would have been so cool. And that's really about it. So I'm going to call it here. Cool, thanks, bye, quick video. I still have another one coming out tonight, you know, the regular gaming video. So just stay tuned for that. Some more backroom stuff. It'll be fun. And yeah, I'll see you then. All right, so I'm kind of like putting this into the video here at the end, because I thought I would check their Twitter to see if they posted anything else. And they posted this picture like 4 days ago. I somehow missed this. And there's Murray's Costume Manor, some sort of order form, it looks like. And the interesting thing here, so I haven't read through the whole thing, but I read through a chunk of it. You know, the order form is your receipt, guarantees that the costumes specified below are being manufactured for you. Present present this order form at the front desk 3 months after your initial order to receive your costumes. So order date May 12th, pickup date July 12th. Purchaser name Spirit, interesting. They want a bear. They want 10 of them, apparently 10 of the same kind. They want a brown bear, with a star on the chest, a purple hat, pink eyelids, cheeks, and knees, and they want freckles, and they want a special coin slot in the stomach, and fire resistant. That is just Rockstar Freddy, which could tie into something big that I brought up in one of my previous videos talking about Secret of the Mimic, and how I theorized that maybe how they're going to try to introduce the mediocre melodies is that they were Edwin's, and that Edwin made the mediocre melodies, whether he actually made that specific animatronic or whether he came up with the characters. I felt like that would be a cool way to introduce them into the franchise and give them like a little bit of a backstory, and it seems like that's what they were doing. But it also seems like that's what they're explaining, the history of the Rockstar animatronics, which wouldn't actually entirely make a ton of sense, because like I don't know, I mean, if you really stop and think about it, Lefty was a Rockstar animatronic designed specifically to capture the puppet. So unless that's a feature that was made for the animatronic back in like the 70s, I feel like that doesn't entirely line up. Or if Henry used Edwin's materials to make Lefty, I don't know how they're going to explain that. But this is just Rockstar Freddy. I also don't know how, like, I mean, obviously it's official, but I don't know how, like, you know, crazy serious it is. I don't know anything about this. I literally just saw this, like, a couple minutes ago, but I thought I would just slide that in here because this is also kind of important, and honestly a lot cooler than that little teaser that we watched. I would have just rather had a teaser where they hinted at this. Like, how cool would that have been if you had, like, you know, oh, it's a teaser, and then you get hinted at like this, and maybe the character we saw wasn't the nurse. Maybe that was actually supposed to be a version of Chica. Like, I don't know. I think it's probably the nurse, but it could also be Chica. It's hard to tell. But like, this is just very like, that just tells you that this is Rockstar Freddy. They even have him down here, and I don't know what to make of that. Because on the one hand, that's cool that they're bringing back the Rockstars. Also, fire resistant means that like the Rockstars survived the Pizza Sim fire in some way, which, if that's what they're going for, it could also then imply that Lefty survived, and that's a whole can of worms there. And there's a lot to go on with this. This could really, you know, break open a lot of things. But I also feel like maybe, you know, I don't know. It's hard to say how super serious this is and how like crucial this is to everything else. But I just thought this would be worth bringing up because, like, this is kind of important. They had another one that was, like, a blank version of this, and then, like, they posted this on, like, a day later or something like that. So, interesting. Maybe we'll get to see more stuff around here, but it really seems like the Rockstars are early versions of the animatronics, which is actually super funny because I never made this video. But I was going to make a theory video about how the Rockstar animatronics were the original band, just based on their simplistic design. They're very similar to the mediocre melodies, and those use like the little battery power packs, which means that they're kind of old, right? They have to use these things to actually move around on stage, and they don't even move anywhere. So my theory was that the Rockstar animatronics were like the original band, or like maybe not the original, but at least like, you know, they're older than we often think they are, and I guess this is what that is saying. Or maybe Murray's costume manor exists into the 2020s, where they got requisitioned to build some Rockstar animatronics. Who knows? I mean, you never know what they're gonna do in FNAF, but this really seems more like the Rockstars are really old animatronics, and I kind of like that. That does open a lot of things up and does poke some holes in other things, but could be really, really interesting to see what they do with that. But this is the kind of stuff I like to see with Secret of the Mimic, right? Like the teaser, the little coffee teaser, I got nothing out of that. There was literally nothing in there that made it feel like Five Nights at Freddy's, and I got zero out of it. I got negative out of that. I felt less inclined about Five Nights at Freddy's after watching that. This, I'm like hyped. I'm like, dude, I want Secret of the Mimic now, because I want to see what they're gonna do with this stuff, in the subtle ways and even maybe more obvious ways that they'll connect into other Five Nights at Freddy's games. I think it'd be so cool. But they just give us this picture and then they give us a teaser that has nothing in it. So I don't know what they're doing, and I also don't know if they're gonna make like one more official trailer before the game comes out. I would assume so. It's like a little under a month. I would assume maybe like late May, early June, they'd have like one more trailer that's like an actual real trailer where they show off some more things. I would assume so. So maybe we'll just wait to see what happens with that. But this was cool, and I thought this was at least worth bringing up in this video that ended up being a lot longer than it really needed to be. But anyway, that's gonna be it. Again, I'll see you again, you know, tonight's video, blah 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 blah, whatever. Bye bye.